Hello and welcome back to live coverage of the Apex Gaming $5,000 Modern Open here at ApexCon. It's Sunday. We're in our second Modern 5K. I'm here with my boy Ross. Say hi, Ross.
Hi, Ross.
And I'm Tandy. And we got a couple of players ready to battle it out here in round number 4.
Yeah, getting about midway through the tournament, 7 rounds of Swiss, and some players off to a strong start, looking to lock up an early spot in the top 8 with a couple more wins. We're going to be starting with Josh Engel, who we saw a little bit earlier today on the Gruul Through the Breach deck. A nice variant of the Eldrazi decks, not using Tron, instead going over the top with Through the Breach. He beat a Boris Energy deck earlier in the day. Going to have to play a very different matchup this round in Brendan Lane on Dimir Control, a deck that has a lot of counter spells, discard spells, and the One Ring to reload. I'm looking at those 4 copies of Psychic Frog. Could be very important in this matchup. Will allow Brendan Lane to sort of get underneath what Josh Engel is doing, draw a bunch of extra cards, and there's not a lot of removal in this Through the Breach deck for a Psychic Frog. A couple copies of Dismember, 4 copies of Kozilek's Command, but the command's going to be pretty expensive if you want to use it to exile Frog. So I think that's going to be the key card in this matchup, and I kind of like the Dimir side of it for Brendan Lane, but Josh Engel, a very accomplished player, could easily take this one down.
All right, well, the players are ready in the feature match area, so without further ado, let's head on down and watch round number 4. All right, Engel is going to be on your right with the Through the Breach. Has already revealed a Devourer of Destiny, so we will get that trigger. On your left is Brendan Lane, playing Dimir. That Psychic Frog control deck looks quite good. I've really enjoyed seeing Psychic Frog in action over the past couple of weeks since Modern Horizons 3's release. Engel here keeps 1, exiles the rest. He's going to be on the play. Dugan's Lab, Devourer of Destiny, match made in heaven.
It's the Talisman, very strong start.
Concur. Turn 1, Preordained from Brendan Lane, going to dig too deep.
Doesn't like either.
Yeah.
Finds a ring off the 3rd card.
Usually that means you either have a lot of land in their lands or you have no lands and they're not lands. Turn 2, the One Ring. Everybody boos.
That's pretty good. No,
Chat, I need everyone to boo. I need everyone to boo when someone plays the ring.
no force of negation for Brendan Lane, so he is under the gun early.
Still feeling confident about old Psychic Frog?
I mean,
turn 2 ring?
Yeah, turn 2 ring on the play is that's pretty good.
And still, no one will let me play Chromebox because it lets you play the ring too fast. It's fine. I'm over it.
It doesn't sound like you're over it,
I'm really not. I'm just trying to be nice.
I'm going to watch Josh Engel draw 75 cards and hopefully not kill himself.
In the game. 5 mana, Through the Breach while you're tapped out. Oh, it's Ulamog the Defiler. He's coming in. He's stanking up the place. That was a very quick turn 3 kill, Josh Engel.
Turn 2 ring, turn 3 Breach Everclear you. Wow. That is that's the best I've seen this Gruul Breach deck look.
Well, we only watched it for about, what, half a game earlier? Or no, he was playing against like freaking Hate Bears,
Yeah.
Freaking Gaddock Teagues. Of course his deck looks bad when he can't play his spells the way he wants.
He won that match, so.
He did. Devourer of Destiny is pretty good against old Gaddock Teague.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look to Brendan Lane's sideboard.
Yeah.
We got
What you got?
3 copies of Consigned to Memory, 2 Dress Down, 2 Harbinger of the Seas, a Mystical Dispute, a Nile Spellbomb, a Shielder's Edict, 2 Subtlety, 2 Toxic Deluge, and an Unlicensed Hearse. The top 7 are all auto-includes for me. The Consigns, the Dress Downs, and the Harbingers. The rest I can take or leave. There's not a ton of targets for Subtlety in the deck because you're not really hardcasting Emrakul or Ulamog. So you can subtly Devourer of Destiny or Thought Not Seer. That is not enough in my eyes. So, yeah, those top 7 cards, though, are very good. I like Harbinger, love Consign. You can get some of this removal out. Fatal Push and Toxic Deluge are both pretty weak.
All right, well, on the other side of things, Engel, with that very explosive fast turn 3 kill, do you have any sideboard cards coming in against Dimir Control?
Oh, Engel's sideboard is 3 Damping Matrix, 2 Defense Grid, 2 Disruptor Flute, 1 Gemstone Caverns, 2 Relic of Progenitus, 2 The Stone Brain, and 3 Veil of Summer. So I like the anti-counterspell cards, Defense Grid and Veil.
Mm-hmm.
Those five should be coming in, and he's on the draw, so get that Gemstone Caverns in there.
Nice. I love me a Gemstone Caverns. Hope we get to see it because every time someone plays it on the draw, I get to go, lucky. All right, as these players are finishing sideboarding here for game number 2, take this time to say thank you to our sponsors for this weekend's events. SpiceRack.gg is one of our sponsors. They are a new tournament software that we have been working with for a few months, and they have had a lot of improvements over that short period of time. They're a small company with a lot of dedicated hard workers. Check out SpiceRack.gg if get your tournament organizers in the local scene to join up today. I don't know why we cut back to this screen. I can't remember all the sponsors. I got to have it on a rotating carousel. That's why they made the rotating carousel, so I know what the sponsors are every time. Thank you to Ghost Energy. Ghost Energy keeps us nice and hydrated and energized on these long tournament weekends. Also, thanks to Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. Wings Etc. Great place to take your friends and family to get you a bite to eat and watch some sports on the TV at a good price. Ross and I were there last night. And lastly, but not least, thanks to Ultimate Guard, the industry leader when it comes to TCG supplies. From the Katana sleeves to the Boulder Deck box, check your local game store today and look for Ultimate Guard.
Okay, game 2 underway. Josh Engel has Devour revealed for the opening hand again. See if Brendan Lane can take some relevant game actions this time.
I like playing Preordain. That's a relevant game action.
I wasn't in game 1.
What if it found Force Negation? Then you'd have been like, oh man, relevant game action.
Then Force Negation would have been a relevant game action.
Ah, I see. All right, top 4 here for the Devourer. Gonna leave one on top, exile the rest.
It's Devour, Grove, and I can't make out the middle card.
I believe it's a Veil Summer. 1 green. Here's Grove of the Burn Willows.
So much less explosive start for Josh Engel here in game 2. That is good news for Brendan Lane. He'll have some time to maybe deploy one of those Psychic Frogs or at least set up a counter wall.
Anyway, here's counter wall. All right, Surveillant stays on top. Marsh Flats is defined. Just wanted some more lands to hit those land drops. Gonna pass back. Engel. Land number 2. If you lead with Grove of the Burn Willows, if I'm Brendan Lane, what am I thinking? It's got to have a Veil in hand, right? It's got to be. What other hand are you keeping?
Especially with no turn 2 action here. If it was just a hand that had turn 2 Talisman into a 4-drop, that might be keepable.
Yeah, what happened to the turn 2 ring draws? What the heck? This deck sucks. All right, another Surveillant here for Lane. Gonna be digging. See if he wants to keep more lands. That one's going to stay on top as well.
I see a Consign in hand.
Fluted Delta was the find, and it comes into play.
Not sure if I see any threats. I think Brendan's hand has a lot of interaction. He needs to find a Murktide Region, a Frog, a Bowmasters even. Start putting some pressure on Engel, who now has an Ugin's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Jumps to 4 and still nothing?
Well, maybe has a ring, but doesn't want to just jam it into Counterspell. Maybe wants to have Veil of Summer back up next turn if he's got land number 4 rolled up.
Yeah, I can see that for sure because he's under no pressure as well. So Lane has an island passing back. Might have Subtlety in hand. Does he have any subtlety? No subtleties in the list. Oh no, there's 2 in the sideboard.
5 mana for Engel says pass. Lane plays land number 5, says pass. End of turn.
K command?
Yeah, the new K command.
Yeah, leaving up green mana for Veil.
I think. Veil's. Okay, Veil Summer just works. Now we get to draw and make 2 01s.
I honestly think Brendan Lane didn't care much about that Kozilek's command, but countered it anyway to try to draw out the obvious Veil. All things considered, this is a pretty low impact card.
I agree. Which is why I'm a bit surprised that he even fired off a counterspell to begin with, but I guess he just has a handful of counter magic, so might as well burn some.
Yeah, wants to use his mana, knows he's going to have to trade it for the Veil at some point. Would rather do it sooner than later. There's an Eldrazi Temple for Engel, so plenty of mana. Could actually cast a Devourer of Destiny at this point.
I think he's got bigger plans. I see an old defense grid in hand, and if that comes down off the Ugin's Labyrinth, Lane has to react. Gonna start off here with Talisman.
That one is not threatening.
Here's the defense grid.
Lane has an Archmage's Charm and a Consign. Trying to figure out which one he wants to use. Opts for the Consign.
Yeah, I think he had Counterspell as well, so it's really like am I going to have to fight over two things this turn? I think the answer is yes because of the Scions, so I'm going to go ahead and consign the defense grid for 1.
Yeah, there's 5 potential mana back here for Engel. It's maybe a Thought-Knot Seer. Nope.
Just says go. Going to try it all again next turn. Lane, though, draws another piece of counter magic. I believe hand is Counterspell, Archmage's Charm. Maybe biting himself a little bit for playing that Consign to Memory. Gonna be a little short on mana to triple Counterspell sometime soon.
He's not gonna need to triple Counterspell.
A few times later. Man, he really should have had that Consign to Memory.
I think the Archmage's Charm is gonna end up drawing 2 cards. Lane has to start generating some card advantage and find a threat.
Or I just want him to play Counterspell and not Consign. I just want to hold on to the Consign.
Yeah.
Here is an Ulamog. Now, we have some cast triggers. Let's get Ulamog on the screen. This is not Ceaseless Hunger. I believe this is the Defiler. And he's got a lot of text, one of which is a cast trigger.
And Engel sacrificed both Eldrazi, leaving a green up, so there's got to be another Veil in hand.
How many Veils are in the list? I thought you said there's only 2.
There's 3.
There are 3. Okay. Here's the Defiler. 10 cost 7/7. Says when you cast a spell, target opponent exiles half their library. Round it up. It has ward, sack 2 permanents. And then it says when it enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the greatest mana value among cards in exile. My guess is it'll be a Murktide Regent, but it could be a 1 ring. And then Ulamog has Annihilator X, where X is the number of 1/1 counters on it. So it's going to have Annihilator 4 or 7. But Counterspell going to target the Ulamog, and we're going to play Veil Summer. And we're going to Counterspell that one too. Both of them down.
Now 2 lands should get or no, that's not wrong Ulamog.
Wrong Ulamog.
We did the cast trigger on ooh, there's a ring.
Doesn't cast it though. If he had that Consign to Memory instead of I guess it's Archmage. I don't know, whatever. I'm off it. Okay, back Engel's way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6 mana away from casting Emrakul.
Yeah. With Engel pretty low on resources at this point, that might have been the turn to try to land the ring.
I agree.
Has a dress down here for this Thought-Knot. That's a nice one. Still has Archmage's Charm up. Engel down to 2 cards in hand, it looks like.
All right, waits for the instep.
Yeah.
The dress down goes to the graveyard, and then Shoulder's Edict take care of the Thought-Knot and draws a card. Now Lane, 6 mana, can play his copy of the 1 ring and still have 2 mana up for some interaction.
But he has the Archmage's Charm as his last counter spell.
Well,
so I think this is a free turn for Engel, unless Lane found another counter. Is there another Consign in hand?
I do not know. There comes Devourer back to hand. So the Ugin's Labyrinth is -1 mana. We only have 8 now.
Yeah. And the Devourer is just a big 6/6.
Are we going to put the Emrakul underneath this one until we need it for later? I think we're just going to cast a 6/6. Unfortunately, it only eats colored permanents, and the 1 ring is colorless, so just a 6/6, Ross.
Yeah. Lane going to fall to 16 from the 1 ring, and now he gets to take over the game with his card advantage.
Needs to find Murktide Regent so he can make a 7/7 flyer or bigger. Do you have Snapcaster in this deck?
Nope.
Dang. I'm going to play a replacement in the 1 ring after we draw some cards, so we're going to have protection for a turn.
And still has 3 mana up now for the Archmage's Charm. Does have to be a little careful of his library size at this point.
That's true. Ring's going to draw a card, though. I'm not scared yet. Unfortunately, the Ulamog is not mill 30, it's mill half, so a second Ulamog is not game over. When I was a kid, I thought second Traumatized was game over. I was like, fork my Traumatized, mill your whole deck.
Yeah. 1/2 times 2 is 1.
Yeah. I hadn't gotten to that class yet. I don't know if you notice, I'm from Alabama.
I'm aware.
All right. Digging through the Exile
Yeah.
so that we can try to figure out what's in hand, I guess.
Yeah. And Lane trying to figure that out too. Make himself a game plan, how he's going to close this game out.
Starts with the preordained. Gonna go digging. How many win conditions I have left? Well, there's one.
There's
a
Frog.
froggy. Gonna keep maybe both. I kind of like keeping both. Archmage's Charm is just good. We have Murktide, though. I guess that's way better.
Yeah, Murktide in hand. That'll close the game out very quickly.
So maybe we want only Archmage's Charm and not Frog so that we get to untap with 2 Archmage's Charms at the ready.
The swamp looking a little awkward.
Now we still got 6 blue in there.
Brendan Lane has 2 swamps in his 3 Archmage's Charm deck.
Yeah, but he also has Harbinger of the Tides. I agree. Archmage's Charm and 2 Swamp is not great. But I don't think it's the Swamp's fault. I think it's the Archmage's Charm's fault.
Hey, Lane playing both the Murktide and the Frog here. Does have Force and Negation as protection. And can play it, has sell as a land drop. So Archmage's Charm plus Force up has a full battlefield of threats. The plan has come together beautifully here in game 2 for Brendan Lane.
Oh yeah. Game 2 is basically wrapped up, unless there's some sort of uncounterable thing from Josh Ingle next turn. And we know there's an Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn underneath that Ugin's Labyrinth, but still quite a ways from hard casting it. No channels in this format, and channel would probably meet that Force Negation anyway.
Yeah, Engel would have to resolve like a Kozilek's Command for a bunch of Eldrazi spawns. And Brendan Lane is not going to let that happen. The Harbinger drawn, so Lane could play that if he wanted to.
Well, I think we might actually be able to lethal here. So we can discard a bunch of instant and sorceries and then eat them with Frog's flying ability.
Love
and that
it.
actually grows the Murktide region as well.
Oh, he's discarding a Murktide. I thought the other plan was going to be to cast that to grow the first Murktide after discarding a bunch of cards.
All right, so we're going to discard a bunch, and we're going to eat a bunch. I think it's just lethal. I don't think it matters.
Oh, eating them with the Frog will pump the Murktide too. Right. Okay.
That's a
so
bingo.
Discard 7 cards. And a Frog is 8 power. And yeah, he's just going to...
He just shows them the 3 Emrakuls. Yeah, nice.
That is a sweet, just one-turn kill for Brendan Lane.
Oh, yeah. Frog and Murktide have some serious synergy. The first time I saw that interaction, I was hooked. And I've been all about some Dimir Murktide and as of late. All right, as these players will reach for their sideboards, do you think there's going to be anything out of Ingle's sideboard he might try to swap up now that he's seen more of this Dimir deck?
Certainly the Gemstone Caverns comes back out.
Yep.
He's on the play. But no, this matchup's pretty straightforward. You need your anti-counterspell cards against the counterspell deck. You just hope it goes more like game 1 instead of game 2.
Yeah.
Game 1 went exactly according to plan for the Gruul Breach deck. Game 2, exactly according to plan for the Dimir control deck.
Oh, I did have a missed opportunity. He did play the Gemstone Caverns in that game, and I could have said unlucky, but I was late. All right, other side of things, you think Brendan Lane's going to be packing any heat after sideboard, other than the consigns that we already saw?
We saw consigns, we saw Dress Down, we saw Harbingers, we saw the Shielders Edict. So we know all of those came in. I doubt much more, even can come in. Subtlety is a flash threat, which can be relevant in a matchup like this, where you're really loath to tap out. So maybe that's better than even something like Shieldred.
Okay. All right. Well, we're about ready here for game number 3. The players are going to be drawing their opening hands shortly. We're going to resolve mulligans. Had a good weekend so far. Yesterday's event had 95 players for that modern 5K. We gave away $5,000 in cash and prizes and crowned the champion Ben Smith, who received 25 leaderboard points, $1,500 cash. We're doing it all again today. A Boros Energy deck. Looked pretty impressive yesterday, but today it's been getting beat up by old Jeskai Control, and I know that there's 2 Jeskai Control pilots in the feature match area right now. Ryan Hayes and TJ Radizak up there on your right.
Yeah, so something tells me we'll be able to get to at least one of those matches when this one finishes.
Yeah, I hope not. I got some Chinese food across the street that's calling my name. I know people at home want to watch Magic, but I want to watch Chicken and Broccoli. That's my favorite show. All right, Ugin's Labyrinth. Gonna put Emrakul underneath. Turn 1.
Okay, that's the Tournament Talisman again. Very scary for Brendan Lane. Could have a consign. Yeah, it does have a consign in hand, so we'll be able to stop something like Thought Not Seer or the One Ring if cast on turn 2. Angle instead just has Eldrazi Temple, go.
Might have Kozilek's Command, and we can do that for 3, which is impressive on turn 2.
Yes, make 3 Scions and scry 3, draw a card.
Yeah. I think it was an extremely underrated card when it was first previewed, but the Kindred ability on it really makes it shine.
Oh, wow, Lane.
No land?
Keeping a 1-lander and missed. We saw that last round with Boros Energy.
All right, 1 ring with Veil backup, probably. Do you have it? I do. Game's over. It is.
Draw off the Veil. 1 ring resolves. Draw off the ring.
Brennan is itching to concede.
Yeah.
No land? I'm out. Watch him. He's out. I bet he's out.
He's thinking of it now.
That would have been the tightest concession I've ever seen. I would have went and shook his hand. All right, top 2 cards coming for Josh Engel thanks to the 1 ring. We're ahead on mana. We're ahead on cards. We're ahead on life, if I'm being honest. Not the life totals, but in general. I'm going to give you a life. Back up to 20.
Just trying to extend his opponent's misery. I see a Talisman. I see a Veil. I see a Through the Breach. Not sure what the other 2 cards are. But
my guess is Big Dumb Eldrazi.
Oh, Angle's counting. That's bad. That's a bad sign.
He's like, okay, well, I can't Through the Breach. If I can't take Through the Breach. What else can I take?
It's really almost never a good sign if your opponent starts counting in a game of Magic.
Yeah, there's that, and there's the... What's your life total at?
Yeah. How many cards do you have in hand?
Yeah. How many cards do you have in hand? Oh, mind twists for exactly enough. Finds Eldrazi Temple. I feel like we got plenty of mana. Maybe that one's going to be useful later for hard casting a 10-drop Ulamog of some kind. Is it only Ulamog the Defiler in the list? Or are there any of the Ceaseless Hungers?
Just the Defiler.
Lane says, move to discard. Engel going to instep. Kozilek's Command is going to make a boatload of tokens. We're going to scry and draw. Brendan, my boy.
There's a Through the Breach.
Leaves them both on top. So we're going to have 2 Through the Breach. I think we can probably cast them both. So thank you, Brendan, for letting us have a cool finale to this game. 2 damage from the ring. Engel draws. Let's draw 3 cards. Why not?
Yeah.
Another Eldrazi Temple. Another 1 ring. Thought Not Seer.
Finish him.
Flawless victory. Alright. Just do it.
Do the thing.
Alright. 2, 3, 4. And 5. You gain a life. Have 1. Through the Breach. What you got? That one just resolves. Ulamog packs it in. Brendan Lane defeated. And Josh Engel moves to 4-0. 1 step closer to making the top 8.